Hello and welcome to the Manufacturers Hub podcast. For the regular listeners, welcome back. If you're new here, thanks for tuning in to the podcast where we shine a spotlight on the people and the businesses driving UK manufacturing forward. From industry insights to real-world stories, we explore what's shaping the future of British manufacturing and the innovators making that happen. Now you know what we're about. Let's get to it. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Manufacturers Hub podcast. In this episode, we're joined by Mike Jerdin from MTT Engineering, a precision engineering manufacturer. Hello, Mike.
Hello, good evening, Richard. Thank you for having us.
Great to have you on board. I say it's been a long time coming, really. Obviously, we've been talking about this for a little while, but it's nice to finally get on. Sorry, it's 7 o'clock in the evening again.
Hey, don't you worry. This is witching hour. This is where work gets done.
That's it. So you're based in Cheshire, aren't you?
Yeah. We're in East Cheshire. Yeah.
Born and bred.
Born and bred. I've always been local to the area. Moved a few miles away from sort of the town that I grew up, but this is where we've been. But through work, I've sort of travelled up and down each north, south, east, west of the country, sort of in applications roles. But yeah, this is we're closer to home now. The point of this was to be nearer to family, and be more responsive, I think. So here we are.
One thing I like to ask businesses as well is, do you have a lot of work locally? Do you have a lot of work for your work? Do you work a lot with local businesses?
Yeah, so I suppose in the Cheshire area, we're quite fortunate and we've got some major... Are we allowed to name drop here, Richard?
You can name drop what you want, yeah.
Hey. So we've got some big players in the pharmaceutical industry. So in our hometown, we've got one of the huge sites for AstraZeneca. So that's a big one, not just for me, but for the employers in the area and just generally in the Cheshire postcode, if you like. And then we've then got just over the county border, over into Staffordshire, you've got JCB, an enormous sort of employer, but then the supply chain that feeds that again is monstrous. It's a phenomenal outfit, and then we've got just a bit further north in sort of Lake District, we've got some motorsport rally teams which we do a bit of work for, and then we do a lot for food industry. So in the heart of Cheshire, we're a stone throw away from food industry, a few manufacturers of machinery, which has been brilliant, stable work that doesn't suffer the sort of global politics of other industries, such as your aerospace, and we're not struggling for race season with motorsport. So, yeah, we've been really lucky where we are, really.
I think I see some of those, like especially food as well. It's consumables, and there's always business in consumables. With you, everyone's got eating, drinking, whereas not everyone has to buy a new car or something like that, do they? So
you got it, and you JCB on the driveway.
So obviously there's been a cross sector really between food industry, pharma.
Yeah, so there's been a good cross section. I'd say the bulk of the work, Richard, has been from subcontract overspill, which I didn't anticipate. I knew that when I set the business plan out of where the work was going to come from and where I wanted to target, I knew there'd be a little bit. If someone's got a machine breakdown, Mike, can you help? Yeah, sure. Mike, such a body's on holiday for 2 weeks. Could you help us get a rush job? Yeah, but do you know what? That's been a bigger piece of the pie than I anticipated. And we're seeing it from different sectors. Now, many of these customers have got me under NDA and, it's all tied up with ribbons on. But if we could take a break away from it, what I would see is customers with good solid order books, conscious about their investment strategy. So they've bought new kit, but not necessarily the highest level of kit. And I mean that with the utmost sincerity. They bought great kit. But for example, a lot of the work we get is from a manufacturer with single turret technology. So when we bring their parts in, it's going on to the Nakamura, we're productivity, we're getting shorter cycle times. I've got a very low operating cost anyway because of low labour. I don't have all the big business rates that these other manufacturers have. So a few of them have kind of cottoned on. Actually, Mike can kind of help us out with, this portion of work. And then, it's been a big piece of the pie, really, and it's been ever so thankful for it, really.
It's just you on your own, isn't it?
It's just me on my own at the moment. I suppose there's good plans. We've got a few irons in the fire and there's some good projects going forward. It's just which lever is going to be pulled first, which way we could go. So there's good potential for a larger format machine, so 80 to 100 mil sort of capacity. Other end of the scale, there's a potential juicy contract for something that's a little bit smaller. We're just waiting for some commitment from customers to go, Mike, we need to jam on this. Let's get it rolling. Going forward, is it going to be just me? I think we're going to have to look at some sort of inspector to sort of keep me in line and make sure everything's on time, on spec, on budget, and possibly something for admin. I mean, that is a huge portion of what we're doing at the minute. And it can be overwhelming. Emails, chasing late payments, getting quotes done. It can just be, even organising couriers for parts to be delivered, it can be a huge thing. So, yeah, are we going to expand for staff-wise? Quite possibly. Machinery? Yeah. I want to keep it low-key. We're never going to be a 400-strong team. It's always going to be small and compact and reactive, is the term I like.
Like we said before the podcast we started, maybe some automation or something as well that might be able to help you along the way.
Yeah, automation is going to be a huge part of it. So really strong background in automation, coming from machine tools, the machine tool sector as an applications engineer. We were working on some incredible projects with customers that have got far deeper pockets and bank balances far healthier than mine. So automation was never a concern for them. So we've got a strong background. We know how to do it, when to do it. Definitely on the agenda. At the minute, we get lots of low volume, frequent change parts, if you like. And it's difficult to automate on a multi-channel machine because there's lots of change outs. As we move into more of the volume stuff, definitely it has to be there. You need to make most use of your time. You're adding value at every opportunity, I guess. You know, stood in front of the machine, just putting a micrometer over a few diameters. We can do that with Renishaw probing. We can have it straight into parts washer. So yeah, make sure you're adding value at every stage, really.
Yeah. So do you normally find with a lot of people in the industry, I was saying about late payments from their suppliers or cosmetic manufacturers. So how do you find with these late payments or does it affect your cash flow and your investment in the future?
It is my biggest bugbear, Richard. I love my customers to bits, and I've got some incredible customers. But when payments are late, and I'm such a small account to some of these people that it's probably not even considered. You know, you go to a multi-million-pound conglomerate and you've got an invoice in there for £800, and it's probably a drop in the ocean to what they usually see. But to me, that's a lot of cash, especially if I've got surface treatments that have been paid for, complex materials that have come from, you know, your motorsport materials are pretty gnarly. You've paid a lot of money for all this and the carbide, and then all of a sudden the invoice just doesn't arrive. It throttles you, and it can be also time consuming trying to chase it up as well. You know, you can't always get through to the person you need to speak to. Oh, they're in a meeting. I mean, the excuses are endless. And I'm so sure some of them are genuine, but it's very draining. Mentally, it is draining, but I don't think I'm isolated with that. You know, I speak to loads of people, and I think there's many people on the naughty list.
Yeah, I think it's definitely one that's becoming more common in the industry as well. I think that's how
Yeah.
I think like say supermarkets and warehouses work, where they get all their stock in first and rely basically on like say the farms or the producers, just say the distributors to basically be their cash flow of where they're not actually.
Honestly, it's brutal. It's been the one thing I've least enjoyed about doing this solo. It was never an issue for me before, working for a great company, solid salary, pension, healthcare, vehicle. You know, you had everything, and payday just turned up in your bank account at the end of the month. It was you never really saw that side of it, but yeah. So credit to my previous employers. You did a good job.
Have you found that over the years things have changed as well? Obviously, with so running a business and the machines you've got.
Yeah, definitely has. So there's a few things that have changed. I mean, if you wind the clock back years, you got your manual machines, and then you had like your Dean Smith Grace lathes. So obviously I'm a turner, so I'm going to bore you to death with lathes now. But if you go back a number of years, you had like your Dean Smith and Grace and your Colchesters, and then you had your Capstons, your Herberts and your Wards. And then obviously the CNC started to come into things, didn't they? So we had the 2-axis turning, and then we introduced 3-axis, we'd introduce a y-axis in there, driven tooling and things. So looking at where the machines are now, it's transformational. I mean, I started off years ago winding handles, and I never once regret learning that. You got a real feel for it, and the burns on the neck from the swarf. But looking at machines are at a real sort of pivotal point at the minute. That they're just phenomenally quick, but the connected state of the machines to industry. So you probably heard the buzzword Industry 4. So what's been the biggest change for me? I think there's two things. The machines are where they're at now. Rapid, ultra complex, loaded with options. But I'm going to say there's two things that are instrumental to business for me now. Machine monitoring. So whilst this machine's busy away, ripping through parts, being able to monitor that whilst you're elsewhere in the building, elsewhere out delivering parts, that machine monitoring, you've got to be connected. So anyone that's running lights out now, I guess you're playing a bit of chance. Is it running? Did the coolant level get low? Has it stopped because the conveyor's jammed? To not know. So machine monitoring is a massive thing for industry at the minute, I believe, and CAD/CAM. So we make some pretty complex parts. We make some pretty simple parts as well. But there's some parts you'd look at now and you go, you know what? Without a decent bit of software driving this, you'd be just stuck. So yeah, instrumental changes for industry. Those two, I think.
Do you have so are they bar fed as well?
Yes, yeah, bar fed.
You might find these skeleton crews or these the night shifts just say running through the night. Sometimes they get stuck on if obviously the bar's not come through the bar feeder as well.
Yeah,
I mean, when I used to turn in the past, it used to be finding quite a lot of their time during the night. Some machines would just get stopped for something stupid, like the bar didn't come through, especially if you're on a hex bar or square bar or something.
Yeah, it's dead common, and so I don't run unmanned through the night. And that's going to sound bonkers, isn't it, in this industry? The insurance to run unmanned is outrageous. So I chose not to, but interestingly, I do run unmanned through the day. And you're going to ask me, well, what are you on about? So I share space for the unit with a fabricator that's local to me. So they've got the unit and they've got all the overheads with it. And I just rent a portion of space in their unit, if you like. But whilst we're running in the day, we meet all the boxes for insurance to be a manned shift. But I can be out delivering or on customer visits, and the machine's still running. But I've still got notification, direct to, I can nip out the door and the coolant levels drop 10 minutes later. And the machine stops. Like, oh, right, okay, turn around and roundabout, nip back, or bar feeds run out of material. You can make that decision. Do you go back? Do you not? It's just having data. You need data. Data gives you good.
You get on well with your the guy you work with. Does he sometimes let you know if it's stopped or anything like that?
Yeah, no, he's sound. And what I don't want to do is overload him with a task of learning this machine whilst he's got his own business to run. But yeah, no, he's Mike. Is there meant to be a crack in the window? Yeah, he'd give me a call. Of course he would. Yeah, there isn't, by the way. Just.
So have you seen over the years the changes of, say, rise? I mean, energy cost is a major one at the moment. So does he charge you energy as well?
Yeah, energy is huge cost. I only started just under 2 years ago, so it was already high when I started. So I've probably not felt the pinch as much as some of the people that have been trading for years and were getting 5 pence a unit. And now, obviously, I've not felt that kind of rise, but it is a huge cost. So you've got some big consumers. You've got spindle motors are enormous, aren't they? And then you've got conveyors. Coolant pumps are a huge portion of it. But then compressed air. These machines need compressed air, and that's a huge cost. Myself, I'm very analytical, so I'm data driven. I love it. Give me the numbers, give me the data. So yeah, I screw right down into this. Pounds and pence, and how much, what kilowatts we're running at. When's the compressor labouring? When's it going into hibernation state after being unused? Yeah, I'm all over it. But huge cost. It's been mega, the energy, and it doesn't seem to be dropping at all. If it does, it's marginal.
Yeah, it could be. I was going to say is I've dealt with some kind of, you can get energy grants. Businesses can get energy grants in manufacturing. depending on the industry you're in. Whether it's, say, quite a lot of it's plastics or metals. But when you actually start diving deeper into it, is that you've got to outlay quite a lot in electricity for the year to actually be able to get something back. So really, what they're doing is they're factoring in these big multi-million pound companies, like multi-billion pound companies, but really the smaller manufacturers aren't really getting to touch any of these grants. Whereas yet you've still got these high overheads and
it's huge. It's a big portion of, when you look at your overheads monthly, you've got your rents, your hire purchase if you've got it. But yeah, energy's certainly up there. It's lower than carbide, but it's a big piece of the pie again. Yeah, for sure.
It's definitely one that needs support, don't they? This is where I think quite a lot of people have spoken. So I notice a lot on LinkedIn, like I say, about energy and support, lack of support really in the industry, and getting something to help, even if it's helping towards like energy, or if it's helping towards some kind of running costs for a manufacturer. That'd be great if we could.
Mate, anything would be greatly received up and down the country. I think it's a huge pain.
So if you could ask the UK government one thing of how you can have support, what would you ask for?
Richard, you've got me now. So for me, I've probably got too many to ask you, but one big one, I think, get rid of VAT for VAT registered companies. And it's going to sound bonkers, that what a daft request, but I'm going to give you an example now. So in the world of machine tools, these are expensive pieces of equipment, aren't they? And if we work on some rough numbers, so I need to get another machine at some stage, and this is a huge cost. So if we worked on a nice round number of 200 grand, which is cheap for a Japanese built machine, and the fact is it's likely to be more, but if we were to work on 200 grand, to place an order, you need 10% deposit. So you need 20 grand to begin with. You then need the full VAT to pay to place the order. So that's another, £40,000. Up to 50 grand before you can start thinking about expanding your business. And, the goal is to earn some more money, put some more money into HMRC's pocket, but they just make it so difficult. I mean, have you got 50 grand liquid cash? So just, it's, get rid of it.
Sometimes I think they do it on purpose, don't they? I think it's to do, you need more money, so then you have to finance off someone else, and then someone else can skim off the top of your money.
Yeah, it's serious pain, that is. So for someone like me, I'd love to just fill a factory of equipment. I'm like a kid in a toy shop. I love it. These are just great, big, expensive toys. But to go and buy one, you really need to think long and hard. It takes a lot of saving, and you need to be able to part with that money. Granted, you get the VAT back when your VAT quarter is, so you need to be thinking about that. But it needs to be in the bank to do it, and that's huge.
We've been speaking to quite a few different financial companies and business advisors, and so we've got a couple of asset finance companies on the hub as well. And some of the ways they're doing things is now as changing is to try and help the smaller businesses where they'll only take their payments back out of profits made from new machinery, or they'll let you borrow the money up front for like 210 days before they even start taking anything back. So there is businesses out there or finance companies out there designed to help as well. Depend on your circumstance. There are some, but I mean, in terms of that figure as well, that's quite a chunk to put on top.
It's huge, isn't it? I mean, that's just a random figure as well. I mean, if I showed you my shopping list, we could probably multiply those figures, but
that's just
good benchmark.
Where you're running machines.
Yeah.
So one thing for me, I'm trying to work out at the moment as well, is like, what's your honest view on the RFQ platforms? So do you reckon they drive work abroad? Are they trying to drive work abroad, or
do they drive work abroad?
Race to the bottom?
I've been recommended a few and chosen not to go ahead. So I've spoken to a few people in the industry, certainly in the early days where I was, this machine had arrived and I was trying to find enough work to keep it fed. And a few people said, Mike, you want to try this platform, you want to try the other. And what I found was they were beating people up on price, which is they're trying to get the best price for their customer, but then that customer isn't necessarily receiving the best price. You're just maximizing the profits for the intermediary, which was the platform. So I would like to see a better platform, maybe. I think there is space in the market for them. I just don't think it's the ones that are there currently.
Yeah. I say I've heard some good stories from them. I say I will be honest. I've heard some businesses say that they've had more than they've invested, obviously throughout
Yes.
the year, so that they've definitely made money on it. But yeah,
Okay.
obviously the other one is that first of all, you're paying this fee before you get any work, aren't you? So
Yes.
if you get any work or not, you don't. So that's yeah, I don't agree on some of them, but yeah, I see some people have said they've benefit from it, whereas others they said they've not from the charge they've paid per year. But yeah, for me, sometimes it's all about the race to the bottom, isn't it? And that's where you normally find a lot of the work is going abroad, whereas rather than obviously coming back in the UK.
Yeah, and you know what? We're a good team of engineers in the UK, and we're more than capable. A lot of the time, I think it's just about putting people in touch with the right people. Like I said, there's not much we couldn't make in the UK. You know, if you know where to go, if you know where to find it, if you need someone that's expert in heat treatment, grinding, you need to know whose door you're knocking on. You know,
Well, to be fair, I mean, if I can add in there, I mean, this is exactly why we created
by
the
the
hub.
way.
It's why we created the hub in the first place. You can literally just go on there and you can type in heat treatment. You can type in.
You know what? I've actually got a good success story for this, Richard. So this wasn't engineered, by the way, but we used the hub not long ago, and I was looking for a wire erosion, and it was a job that had even declined. I feel obliged to help some customers when they come on board for a quote, and even if it's something I can't take on, I still feel that this person's in need. I want to try and point them in the direction of someone I either know or someone I can recommend that's I can, back their quality and say, yeah, this is the company you need to speak to. And I was looking for some wire erosion, and I jumped on the hub and I thought, well, where is one? Actually, there's one in Sandbach. So Cheshire EDM, great shout. I didn't even know they were there, and they're only up the road from me as well. And I never knew, and all the years been in the game. So there you go, you connected a partner.
That's the thing, obviously, with it is the whole reason we built it in the first place is because of awareness and the amount of businesses that are trying to fight for the Google space first
Yeah,
page. Not seen, see straight someone types in erosion on Google, but suddenly there's 1,000 companies fighting for that same
yeah.
space. You're not going to be seen, are you? So that's obviously why we built it in the first place. But no, great. Obviously, you've connected with them.
Yeah, no, it's been good. And like I said, I didn't even know they were there, and they were a stone throw away, really, in the grand scheme of things. People are hidden, aren't they? If you don't know they're there, you don't know they're there.
Exactly. So hopefully, obviously, people are seeing you as well through the platform, and that's what it's about. They're saying that
Yeah,
you specialize
yeah,
in pharma or motorsport, or that's what it's for.
cool parts. Can we put that down on the register?
I'll get Kev to filter straight in the filter.
Top man.
um, so obviously we spoke about investments this year as well. So what's the next plan then for this year? So you said about possibly a inspection, maybe admin.
Yeah, so there's a couple of routes I need to look at, and we were very close last year to expanding on machinery, but ultimately, being a subcontractor, not producing your own product, you're very reliant on customers. And once the customers give us the go ahead, we'll pull the lever, the machines are in. So there's a couple of irons in the fire at the moment, different projects, one of which would require larger capacity machinery. So that's good potential. There's basically, I've said yes to every inquiry I've had and every discussion I've had, and the customer said, Mike, can you support us on this? Yes, yeah, I absolutely. So if it all comes off, I'm in a bit of trouble, I'll be honest. So there's a couple of avenues. I do need to push forward on metrology. Do you know, when I started the business, I would love to tell you I had £1 million in the bank and I was going to go and buy one of everything that I needed. The reality is I didn't, and I haven't. So you start off with what you absolutely can. I pumped a lot of money and I went right up to my limit to buy the machine that I got. And zero regrets. I love the thing to pieces. It's amazing. I now need to start complementing that with more metrology equipment, because there's some jobs that we get inquiries for and I just decline them at quotation. So, Mr. Customer, I can't measure these features, so it's not right for me to take it on. You possibly reject it, think the worst of me, and then we never do business again. So there is some work that I'll just decline. You know, we turn down a lot of work, but it's for honest reasons. I only want to take on the work that we can deliver on time, on spec, on budget. You know, that's super important. Don't overpromise. Deliver what you say you will, when you will. So metrology is a big one this year. and possibly new machinery. So yeah, it's just customer driven. If the customers watch this, give me the go ahead. I'm ready.
Would you go for the same brand machine again? You like
I
them?
love those machines, yeah. And then I've worked on loads of machines over the years, and I had a solid 10 years borderline with ETG on the Nakamuras. So the one thing I love about the machines is they're just loaded. When you go through the options list, the only options that you're really ticking are ancillary equipment. Do you want a bar feeder? Do you want a filter unit on it? Do you want a swarf conveyor? When it comes to software, they are loaded. If I was to go to another brand, and I'll be honest, I don't believe you can buy a bad machine. I think even the machines you perhaps wouldn't have touched 10, 15 years ago are actually pretty solid. And it's no different to the automotive market. Cars you wouldn't have dreamt of driving, that's all right. So I would stay with them because I know so much about them. There's zero learning curve for me. They make sense for my business model. I know more about the back end of those machines that you just wouldn't learn as a general customer because you wouldn't need to, but having so many years exposure to them, it's a bit like having a cheat sheet, really. And they are solid quality machines, not the cheapest. You know, if you're price conscious, and that's no disrespect to ETG, it's a premium product. It comes with a sensible price. But there are cheaper options if price is your thing. But I'd have a factory full of them. I think they're amazing. I quite fancy that JX250, the B-axis head, 120 tools and 2 lower turrets. That is boss. We need that.
So this is all CNC. Is it mill turn? Is
all mill turn? Yeah. So that's pretty much what we do. I'm not a bad miller, I'll be honest, but the business, I took a bit of a risk. I wanted to specialize in a zone. I didn't want to offer too many services and be average at them all. Some companies just excel at being good at loads of things, whereas I just wanted the turning, the mill turn. That's where I sit. So yeah, I've taken a bit of a risk cornering into, a very small area, but that's what I can offer really well, I believe. So,
well, you know it works. You know it works. You know what you're doing.
Yeah, and you know what? There's loads of people that do the milling to a mega standard, and if I need support on it, they're a phone call away. 5-axis pallet pools, they've got it. Let the grown-ups look after that stuff.
So you normally, so if someone comes to you with this work and you can't do it, you normally pass this work on, do you? You normally kind of just pass work back sometimes as well.
I try not to sit in the middle of it. I know I'm probably leaving money on the table there. I try not to sit in the middle of it. I'll always put customers in touch with companies direct. I don't want to take the work on, put a margin on it, and then put a new sticker on it, a new box, and bow and out the door. But I do try and get customers up and running. When they phone, they're at a time of need, aren't they? They need some parts. They're having a bit of a rough time, short deadlines. Just saying no is not helping anyone, is it? But if I can say, actually, it's not for me, Mr. Customer. However, my friend down the road, excellent, and I can 100% recommend them. Do you want to have a chat? Oh, thanks, Mike. And I can go to bed easy that night. I think I've done the right thing.
I think sometimes they might, obviously your friends, they might pass stuff back as well.
And that's what we hope for. I think. I hope that's. I wouldn't say it always happens, no, but it's still the right thing to do. I think. Yeah, and integrity is massive. If you can't have integrity, then you might as well close the doors, haven't you? I think.
So you're looking after your customer as well, because they come back again, won't they? They come back again for what you can do, and then, you just pass on the stuff you can't.
Yeah, and that's the way I'd like to continue doing business. It's just the way it should be.
So, is there anything else you want to add to anyone obviously listening to the podcast, say for trying to outreach to any kind of companies out there? Or
yeah, so there's a couple of things. I'm going to say, anyone watching this, thanks for putting up with me for this period of time. If you're not on the hub, get on it. So if you haven't already figured, I set up the business just under 2 years ago. I did not have the budget to be, advertising. You need to do it. It's a huge part of any business, and I'm not going to pretend that I didn't realise the importance of it. Same time, I didn't have mega deep pockets to spend on the marketing budgets that a business really warrants. So then you try and do it yourself. And if you're like me, I don't know what SEO is. I don't know what meta tags are. I don't know what the other bits you keep talking about. So it's just not my bag. So when you guys offered the platform, 50 quid, was it? Is it 60 quid?
Yeah, it's 50. We've got slightly more now because of the podcast and the meets we're trying to do, but we do aim to be this low.
It's value added. If you can't afford less than a tenner a month, you might as well, you're not going to get it from Facebook Marketplace, are you? So it's helped me out. And I think just get on it. I mean, if you've got super budgets and you can spend, go for it. But for me, it's been invaluable. So thank you. And the second thing, when are you and Kev going full time at this?
Hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. We've actually been talking to investors. We've got a couple of investors interested. So this is something that might drive us obviously full time quicker. So for us, because working full time, it's trying to be able to give enough value to get back people on the platform. So we'd like to think as soon as possible, but I say at the moment, watch this space. We've got some investors interested, so yeah, it might push us quicker.
Mega, keep up the good work, and thank you for having us.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So it's nice to have you on anyway, Mike. Thanks for being so honest about obviously the business and the industry and how you're coping as running a business on your own. So no, thanks for being on.
That's the grey hair. You see, that's that's how it's going.
No worries. Well, thanks for being on, and we'll definitely catch up soon.
Amazing. Thank you, Richard.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the podcast. If you enjoyed the conversation and want to hear more from UK manufacturing, be sure to watch the podcast on the Hub or subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll be back soon with more stories. Until next time, keep innovating, keep investing, and keep UK manufacturing driving forward.